It's the final day in the House of Tiny Tearaways, and it's been a truly life-transforming week. But one question remains. Are our families finally ready to return home?
Oh, dear.
Where's it going? No!
At the start of the week, 3 families with severe parenting problems arrived here at the House of Tiny Tearaways. The person in charge of turning their lives around is clinical psychologist Dr Tanya Byron. Dr Tanya has been given just 6 days to turn their eating, sleeping and behaviour problems around in what she hopes will be an environment of mutual support. The home for the families has been designed and constructed in conjunction with a committee of childcare experts to make sure that it's a safe, fun place for kids to stay, whilst also recreating a realistic and practical home environment.
My challenge is to help as many families as I can, and I've been given just 6 days to do it.
The Turner family have come here to try and solve their daughter's severe tantrums and repair the devastating effect this was having on their personal relationship. Single mum Nicola is desperate to get her own bed back. Her 23-month-old son Dante wakes continuously and ends up in mum's bed every night, leaving her exhausted.
I know I'm not happy inside.
Finally, there's the Cooksleys. Mum Nikki and Dad Paul have had to face up to the shocking news that their 2.5-year-old son Lewis is more than a fussy eater. He's actually food phobic, and they are partly to blame. Dr Tanya has had just 6 days to achieve some major changes with our 3 families. So how far have they come, and will they stand up to her final test?
No, come on. Come on.
Paul and Nikki Cooksley arrived 5 days ago and have been making good progress with 2.5-year-old son Lewis's fussy eating and food phobia. With Dr Tanya's guidance and Mum and Dad's perseverance, Lewis has progressed from puree food to a few spoonfuls of proper food. She's also encouraged Paul and Nikki to take the first steps in transforming Lewis from a baby to a toddler.
Lewis's baby bottle has gone.
Bye-bye, bottle.
Part of this process is teaching Lewis to play on his own.
Mummy and Daddy are going to play. Will you go and play?
You all right then, sweetheart?
Yes, I'm fine. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're all right? Yeah. So you're all packed and all done?
All packed. All
Isn't that brilliant? That you're packed and done. Go on then, you show Daddy what you can do then.
Clever boy.
Clever boy. Go on then. Clever
Show
boy.
Mummy what you can do. I'm in his trousers.
Oh no, do you know he'd never have done this before? This week, would he? He wouldn't even have done this, would he? Gone off and played. He's changed, hasn't he? So much.
He's come in leaps and bounds. He really has. Can you go through the tunnel?
Go on then. You show your daddy how you can go through the tunnel. He's done it.
Well done.
Well done. Clever boy. He'd never do that on his own, go through a tunnel like that, ever. I could never get him to do that.
Louise and Lee Turner came to the House of Tiny Tearaways as a last resort.
What do you mean I can?
They needed to learn how to cope with 3-year-old Jessica and 6-year-old Hannah's severe tantrums.
Put.
During their stay, Dr Tanya has been teaching Lee and Louise a variety of techniques to cope with these outbursts. Over the last 6 days, the family have been reunited, and yesterday Lee Turner had a special surprise for his partner Louise.
I'm going to ask Mummy to please, will you marry me?
Yeah.
Today, Dr Tanya is keen to see how Jessica and Hannah have found the changes she's implemented over the course of the week.
Something's really special happened last night with Mummy and Daddy. What was that?
Me and Jessie got some raspberry stuff from Daddy and Mummy.
And Mummy and Daddy getting married. What do you think about that?
Great. I put Sally the horsey in here.
Put Sally the horsey in the tissue box, did you?
Does that mean that you've got happy feelings in your tummy? Yeah. Have you got happy feelings in your tummy? Why have you got happy feelings in your tummy?
Because I like feeling happy.
You like feeling happy. I like you feeling happy.
For the past week, our families have had to endure tears, monumental tantrums, and continuing battles in an attempt to improve their children's behaviour. So as the week draws to an end, I catch up with Dr Tanya to find out what she has in store for the families on this, their very final day. So what's today all about? It's the last day. Is it just clapping and sending them on their way?
No. I think the temptation would be to just, you know, have a big sunshiny send-off parade, and I do want to do that, and I want people to leave positive and resolved that they can, you know, move on. But I think there has to be a note of realism injected into the day, which is they're leaving this amazing, completely unreal space, and they're going into the real world, which then suddenly will be work and bills and life and stress and everything else. So I've got to find a balance between all the congratulations and the hugs and everything, and also the words of caution to enable them to leave here in a very realistic way. Otherwise, my fear is that they will crash and burn, and that would just be awful.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to, well, actually, I'm going to throw a children's party, but you know me, there's always some underlying reason for what I do in this house, and each family will have a task within the party that I will be observing, which will enable me to really, really assess whether the change they've made is meaningful and they can maintain it when they leave this house.
Over the last week, single mum Nicola has managed to get her 23-month-old son Dante to sleep in his own bed, but he's still waking during the night. Nicola has managed to drastically reduce the number of times he wakes using Tanya's rapid return technique. The previous night was Dante's final night in the house. Can he improve on the night before, when he woke 4 times?
See what he's done?
As single mum, Nicola's thoughts turn to leaving and coping on her own again. She's not thinking about Dante's sleep, but his tantrums. Dr Tanya's system of community support is really working. As the Turners have worked intensively on improving their daughter's tantrums, they're able to share their newfound wisdom.
We beat Jessie on the bed. She was 5-6 times that in our bed, never stopping. We beat her on that, and shortly after that, the big tantrum started.
Really?
Because that was like, right, I'll get you somehow. I'll get your attention. If I can't get your attention by keeping you awake, I'll get your attention by doing something else.
Because he's coming to his terrible 2s, isn't he? He's going to be 2 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but what he's doing now, he's waiting for you to scream at him.
Right.
Because when you scream at him...
He's quiet now.
When you scream at him...
I don't need socks.
He likes that.
No, you're giving him attention.
Dad, I don't need socks.
See, at 2, it's quite difficult because he can't talk to you.
No.
And you... Where's the trainers, Lou?
Lou, when they started hitting
Where's the
and
trainers,
throwing
Jessie?
things, how did you deal with that?
We didn't.
If they smack you, you
just walk away.
The best way to do it at that age is, you've really hurt me, I'm not your friend.
And just walk away.
Walk away.
And you know what they say?
And he'll learn because it will hurt his feelings.
If you say to a kid, don't smack,
and you smack.
And you smack them back and say, you don't smack me.
Teach them to smack.
No, but what you're saying is you don't smack me, but I can smack you.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it's really confusing because you said, don't smack, bang, and you smack him. Trainers.
And I used to smack quite a bit sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I did. But you know what it was? It's sad. It was just to get my frustration out. And what was it doing to her?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Because you smack over spilt milk or something.
She used to turn around and say to me, that didn't hurt.
And that wind you up even more. You'd be like, what? You little madam.
Yeah. And some stronger words.
Before we went into this, you said, I really want the community spirit to sort of work and take off. Wouldn't you say it has?
Definitely. And one of the things I'm still trying to work out in my own mind is how rapid progress has been for this group of people. And I do think that has a lot to do with the fact that they have pushed each other along as a community as much as the work that they've done with me. So, and I think this is where you see it. This is the example.
On their first day, Dr Tanya asked the 3 families to express how they felt about their family and the problems they were facing in the form of a giant painting. Dr Tanya wanted to use this piece of art as a starting point for the work she would do with each of the families. Now, at the end of their stay, Dr Tanya has asked the families to undertake the same activity again in order to gauge what change and progress they've made from that very first day. I joined Dr Tanya in her office to see what the family's artwork is revealing.
The last day. It's a very different scene from the first day, isn't it?
Huge. I mean, it's hugely different. Yeah, I mean, look already, Lewis Cooksley in there, crawling through the thing, dirty handprints all over his mother. She's not flinching. When they came in on the first day, do you remember I had to take the wet wipes out of her hands? But I just need to take the wipes away, if that's all right. So I'm just going to ban wipes for the minute, if that's okay. Right, Lewis throwing himself down in the middle of paint, not a problem. He was quite cautious when they did their pictures on the first day, and in fact, the pictures were theirs, not really his. Now he's really going for it. There's a bigger spread of families around the, can you see, around the paper. Before they were in little kind of tight groups all on their own.
I'm not bothered about this tracksuit pants.
Dante, yeah, look at Dante's art.
That's gorgeous.
Dante, that's nice.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what. There you are.
That's happy face.
There's a word there. Does it say unity?
Yes, I think it does. Could you have thought of a better word for them to write? Are you pleased with that?
I think it's a lovely word because I do think for Nicola there's been so many layers to this. She came in with a sleep problem, but there's lots of things that she's thought about for herself. But I think unity is about bond, is about togetherness, and that can only be positive for this little boy.
She will.
I'm telling you, she's really taking it seriously. I feel you, girl. I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it so
Remember
right.
the first day we came in here and you said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Do it.
Louise has written stress and she's now crossing it out. So that's something I want to help her think about before she leaves, because I'm so glad that she doesn't feel stress. But what I also want to say to her is when you get back to the real world, you will feel stress. That's all part of life.
Yeah, and Paul and myself can compare how much more hair we've got.
Lewis Cooksley is painting his head. I mean, what more evidence do you need?
With a roller.
And his mother isn't flinching.
When you decide, okay. You say, hey,
Can I tell you?
No.
Have a look at the picture. Tell me what you think it means. Daddy's picture. The picture there with the big...
This one, Hannah.
This one. What does that picture mean there?
I think it means that Daddy loves all of us.
I think it does. I don't know how I'm going to get through this day without crying.
Two days ago, Dr Tanya introduced rabbits to the house as an incentive for the children to be well behaved. Now, on their last day, she has a little farewell treat for them, which will also include their final test for the week.
And because you have all been such good children, guess what we're going to throw for you? A big party. And it's going to be all about rabbits. Woohoo! Okay, this is for the kids. This isn't about you guys, it's about your kids. It's about giving your kids something, because I think your kids have been absolutely brilliant. The thing about this party is that each of you individually will be given a responsibility, because actually there is probably nothing more stressful than throwing a children's party.
Sorry,
Oh, I've done one about a month
not
ago.
washing up. Please, not washing up.
Oh, no, me either.
Okay, so you'll all have tasks, and I'm going to meet you one by one very quickly now, just to set that up, and then we'll get on with the rest of the day.
Lee and Louise Turner have joined Dr Tanya in her office for their final consultation.
I just really want to show you some clips from the beginning, okay? This is about kind of recognising where we started and where we've got to, and then later on we'll think about how you're going to maintain this when you leave, because that is the big question for today. So, see the first one.
No!
Don't.
Right, you have your breakfast first. And the story. Oh, wow.
Do you think you'll go back there when you get home?
We can't.
Are you sure? This is like a hotel. This is like fairyland. This is you've got me.
We can't go back to it. that it's not a choice. It's not an option to just
Come
say,
too far.
oh, yeah, I'm too tired today to do this. What we've got now, we've got respect for the children. And they've now starting to get respect for us.
I suppose something that I've really thought about a lot in terms of you as a couple is how something very simple, like teaching you how to play with your children, was an enormous breakthrough. This is, I suppose, where I think was the moment that you both recognised the value of play and how much fun it could be.
No, you say.
Hannah said something to me in the bath tonight. I don't know if you heard it.
Tell me.
She says, why did you play with me like that? I said, because I wanted to. I said, did you like it? She says, yeah. She said, can we do it tomorrow? I said, yeah. She says, well, you've never played with me like that before.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a real...
Tears in the eyes.
It was a killer. And I really don't want my kids to end up feeling that they can't say things to me, that we can't talk to each other, that we can't do things.
I think that was your big moment for me. Still a big moment. Now here's an achievement, a different kind of achievement. I think was also another big achievement for you both in the week. Have a look. But it was painful. It was painful.
That's a nice racing car, Hannah, isn't it?
I love you.
You can go outside.
Yes, you can.
So does.
She learnt. She learnt because you let her learn. Previously, what you've taught your kids is you've taught them how to fight.
Yeah.
Now what you're beginning to teach them is to take responsibility for their behaviour. And I thought the way you did that was so loving and tender. Can you sum up your incredible journey for me?
My journey has been the realisation of what my impact was negatively having on the family. The way I was acting was affecting every single member of the family. I feel, like I said, 10 years younger. Physically, emotionally. And I don't want to go back to that tense, unemotional shell.
Would you say this has been an experience that is going to make a lasting change?
We take the things out from here, so we've kept everything. We take the things out, the pictures the kids have drawn, and we look at them. And that takes us back to what we know we are. Not what we can be, what we actually are. And that's the big thing.
And we've taken the ring and we've left it in the box, and we're going to put it somewhere where we can all go and look at it. And that for us is we can look at it and it symbolises it's round, it's never ending, and it's eternal.
There's a children's party happening today. Your task in this party will be to be in charge, the whole of your family with the girls, of decorations, decorating the room, decorating the house, decorating however you want. I will provide them all, but what I need to see from you guys is the way you involve your girls, you engage your girls, you motivate your girls. If there's any scraps over who puts up the pink garland or whatever, how you sort it out. How you make sure that everybody, it's fair, how you make sure that one doesn't dominate, how you deal with the sibling rivalry, all the things you came in for. This is your test, okay?
Nikki and Paul Cooksley are waiting for their final consultation. During the week, Dr Tanya has tried to work with Nikki, reducing her anxiety and fixation with cleanliness. Even on the last day, though, Nikki can't quite ignore the mess.
What a bloody mess. Do you know, if this was my home, now I know, I don't want anyone staying over in my house, ever.
You can't change that. If you're a clean person and it bugs the hell out of you to see this, then you ain't going to change that. There's nothing wrong with that. You'd be stressing about all this now, wouldn't you?
Stressing? Oh, bloody Christ.
Would you be stressed?
Yes.
I would.
Do you know what I want to do? I want to get everything out and vacuum in here and wash the carpets, clean that glass, which is bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Dr Tanya discovered that Nikki and Paul Cooksleys' son, Lewis, suffers from food phobia, and they're discussing his incredible progress this week.
What a week it's been.
It has.
Who would have thought, and I include myself in this, when your son left today, that he would have achieved all that he has achieved?
It's been amazing, hasn't it? And I think the thing that hits me is the fact that in such a very short space of time, when you see how much he and we all together have achieved, it's unbelievable.
The target, when you first came in, was we don't want our son to eat pureed food anymore, we want him to eat a roast dinner. That was the first target. Shall we start by just looking at how things were for you before you came in? Would you like to have a look?
Yes, please.
OK, let's have a look.
He will not eat anything with the slightest lump in. Roast dinners, which he absolutely adores, he will only touch if it's a consistency of that you could drink in a bottle. Should be satisfactory.
You're going to eat your tea? Yeah, you're going to eat it for Daddy? Please?
I am worried sick that because he's not eating, he's going to get seriously affected by it. Let's try a little bit for Mum. Go on.
One of the things with his eating that we established quite early on was to do with anxiety. Can you talk me through that? His anxiety. What did you kind of learn?
We learnt that it was not only the fact that he wasn't eating what we wanted him to eat, was the fact that it was probably because he was scared to eat, or he just didn't understand the texture thing and everything like that.
And when we did that little experiment in the room there, with all the different foods, etc., I was really frightened. I was really scared by
Do you want to see it?
Yes, please.
Do you want to see it? Okay.
Pop, that's it. It's all. No, that's all right.
It was a very, I thought, a very groundbreaking moment for you.
Watching that at the time and suddenly realising what I could see in front of me, and that was the fact that this little boy was really scared.
And I feel that a big part...
You felt to blame, did you?
I did feel... I am to blame, because I am the main sort of thing there, the reason why he's like that. I mean, I just... Every 2 seconds, I can't stand mess. I've got to clean him up all the time, and he's sort of grown to think that that's normal, and it's not.
Have a look. Here's our first moment. Here's our first moment. Right. In. Good boy. Yes. And here. Lewis, do it. Good boy.
Hey.
Good boy.
Good boy.
You have to understand, in my profession, one of the most difficult behaviour problems to treat in young children is feeding problems. Right. It takes months, not weeks, and certainly not days. It's incredible. You have to really appreciate what you've both done. But you didn't just start him off on the right track in 6 days. You reached your target before the end of the week, a roast dinner. Here's that special moment, the best moment.
Can you eat a bigger bit, and then we'll have a big crispy if you eat a bigger bit.
Well done. That's one of the things that I will always remember, that moment. I said that earlier, didn't I? I said that earlier because that was very powerful for me.
You absolutely did it, and I didn't think it would happen, and it has, and really, huge respect. Your last target today, children's party. I have got all the ingredients you need to make homemade pizzas, and I want you to make homemade pizzas with your son.
Okay.
I want him to touch the ingredients, I want him to slop it on the pizza.
Excellent, yeah.
Homemade pizzas. It's fun, it's play, it's mess.
You do all right.
No?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Tell me what the eyes were going, oh, for.
Do you think
I've never made anything like that before.
We'll have a go. We'll have a go.
It's about Lewis. He'll show you how to make it. But I'm going to be really slamming. I'm going to slam you, because while you're making the pizzas, I'm going to do something that psychologists call flooding. So while you're making your pizzas, I am going to surround you.
Oh no!
With I have bought every packet of wet wipes I can find in a 10-mile radius.
Oh no!
And they're going to be around you and near you, in your eye line. Okay?
It's going to be a task.
Hello.
It's the last day of what's been a very emotional week for our three families. Home for the Turner family was a battleground, and Lee and Louise Turner want to turn around the behaviour of their daughters, Hannah and Jessica. Both girls have severe tantrums. Dr Tanya has taught them to ignore their violent outbursts and how to encourage good behaviour with sticker charts. Paul and Nikki Cooksley are here to help their son Lewis, who would only eat pureed food and sometimes refuse to eat anything at all. Dr Tanya discovered that he has a fear of food caused by his parents' anxiety. She encouraged messy play at mealtimes, and he's starting to overcome his phobia. 2 days ago, the Cooksleys reached their target, and Lewis ate a roast dinner for the very first time. Nicola Egbon has brought her son Dante here to conquer his sleep problem. At home, he wakes up to 15 times a night and will only sleep in his mum's bed, leaving mum Nicola exhausted. During her stay, Dr Tanya has taught Nicola a sleep technique called rapid return, which is already paying huge dividends. Dante has now slept 4 nights in a row in his own bed, and she's drastically reduced the number of times he wakes. Dr Tanya has also encouraged Nicola to do activities to build up her own self-belief as a parent.
I did it!
After a successful session with the Cooksleys, Dr Tanya turned her attention to mum Nicola Egbon and her son Dante. Dr Tanya has charted Dante's wakings over the course of the week. It's time to reveal just how many times he woke last night. Can he beat his previous record?
How many times? This is where we have a big drum roll. How many times did he wake in the night?
I'd say about 3, maybe.
It was 1.
Shut up!
Shut up! It
Really?
was! Shut up!
No.
Once.
He slept. He did it, didn't he?
He did it because...
Of me. I put him to sleep.
Of you. Your son came into this house with a sleep problem. Your son had a sleep problem. So, in my head, I'm thinking, OK, here comes Nicola and Dante. I've got 6 days, severe sleep problem. I'm thinking, I don't know. I really don't know. And then first night, I said to you, put him to bed by 7:30. You're like, he won't do it, he won't do it. And then what happened?
He did.
Man, you drive me mad sometimes.
I know.
Here is one of the nights where we did the return to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, look at me.
Mommy! Mommy.
What a lovely mummy I'm looking at here. This was the night you put him back 12 times. And that was the night, actually, in the end, and I don't blame you, you took him into your bed because you were just absolutely exhausted. But that was the only night you took him into your bed. For the rest of the week, the second night, he has gone to sleep in his bed and he has woken up in his bed, and that, for me, was a really vitally important thing.
I did it, I know.
You need to really acknowledge what you've done. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about. But here, just have a look at this, because this is just a nice little bit I wanted to show you because I thought this is really lovely.
I'm gonna have my room back, girl. I slept in my bed for the first time since Donnie was born. In my bed. Oh man, Eunice, this is the best thing I ever did, though.
I told you it'd be good for you.
I'm a great mom.
You've really recognised, you've really... Oh, sweet! Darling, here you go. Now, what about you, Nicola? What about you coming into this house? There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that you needed to be here. Your son had a very severe sleep problem. But I want you to just reflect on this a little bit.
Okay.
I reckon Dante has brought you to this house because he wants his mum to get some help. He wants his mum to stop crying every day. So he has to wipe her tears with his hands.
Doing that to him.
But
you'll just be like, just leave me alone. Just go away. Just go away. I always say that to him.
Because?
I always say that. That's one of the things you'd hear in my, in our household. Don't say, just leave me alone. Just go away.
What was important about that chat?
I guess for the past 2 years, I've been feeling like I didn't deserve him.
Do you deserve him now?
Yeah, it's my son.
And does he deserve you as his mother? Does he deserve you as his mother?
We're a good team.
You're a very, very good team.
Good team.
The other thing for you that was very important this week was the bond with your son. And you wrote the word unity on that paper. So my final task, challenge for you today is I want to really look at that bond. So throughout the party, I will be watching the whole party.
Yeah.
At some stage, I'm not going to tell you when, I will just specifically watch you for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And when I'm watching you, I will be ticking the number of times you praise your son.
Okay.
And I will be ticking the number of times you show him attention by attending to what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's crunch time for the Cooksleys. Lewis began the week with a severe eating phobia, and part of the problem was his mum and dad's obsession with avoiding messy foods. Dr Tanya has taught them some crucial techniques to combat the problem, and now, on their last day, it's time for their final test. Dr Tanya has asked them to make pizzas for everyone at the party. To really test their progress, she's placed cleaning wipes all around the kitchen to see if Mum and Dad can resist the temptation to wipe up the inevitable mess, which is so key to reconditioning Lewis's eating habits.
Oh, wow, look at that. There we go.
What's that? What is it? Lewis.
You ready? Shall we put some things on it? What would you like to do? You want to put some things on it, do you? Yeah. Do you want to do
Dr Tanya is observing from her office.
it? What we do? Should we... Good boy. Good boy.
Shall I put some peppers on?
Good boy. Yeah. Can you do that? Can you do that? Hey, that's it. Oh, look. There we are. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right, what else are we going to put on?
After a good start, Lewis becomes overwhelmed by the flurry of messy pizza making.
Some sweet corn.
Lewis, we've got to make a party
We've got to
for
make
everybody.
a party. Hey. Lewis.
Another one of them?
Yeah, Mummy.
Previously, the Cooksleys would have reached for the wipes and tried to console their son. So will they follow Dr Tanya's advice and stay calm, ignore the behaviour and the wipes?
I'm going to draw a dig-dig. Ready? Watch. Watch. What would you like me to draw? What would you like me to draw? A dig-dig. Come and have a look then. Ready? Daddy's going to draw a dig-dig. Ready? Can you see it? Should we make a dig-dig in it? OK, there we
Mum's
go.
going to make one as well. We need your help.
I'm going to make... Lewis, shall I make a tootle on here? Ready? Look, there's his body. And there's his head. Do you want to give me his legs? Do you want to give me his legs? What can we use for his legs? Some of these? You want to use that? Should we move that for his leg? Can you give me another leg?
Come on.
Look, we want you to help us. Come on. Right, well, in that case then, Daddy's going to do it.
Well, Lewis, you can sit there on your own then.
We'll do it then.
We'll play together.
We'll play together.
Are you going to help me?
You going to help, Mummy? You going to help, Mummy?
Well, OK.
Hey!
If he wants, he can sit there and watch us do it.
He can. You can watch us.
Want to join in.
You can watch us do it.
Could you not push that, please,
Could you not
Lewis?
push that,
If
please?
you don't want to play with us, then leave it there and you sit and watch, please.
You sit and watch.
Because Daddy's trying to do it.
Yes.
Leave it.
Does Lewis want to do it?
No, leave him, miserable sod.
Yeah. She's yellow. Wow, look.
After observing the activity, Dr Tanya pops in to tell them how they've done.
Business.
I think you've exceeded my expectations in this test, ignoring this, but I'm worried that it's going to go into his eyes, you know, the food, so I think wipe away now if you want to. Lewis, just to say, let's think about what you've just achieved here, because this was a tough challenge for you, a tough test. You have, he's touched messy food, unfamiliar food, surrounded by wet wipes with two parents who aren't behaving in a manner to which he's normally accustomed. You haven't wiped him, you've ignored a tantrum, you've engaged him, you've motivated him, and you've made great pizzas. I'd say mission accomplished.
That's really nice you'd say that. I feel quite good now.
Well done.
The rabbit party is just 2 hours away, so it's time for the Turner family to prepare the decorations and write those invites. Their final activity will test whether they can put into practice what they've learnt this week and implement the sticker charts and timeouts which Dr Tanya has taught them to use if Jessica or Hannah have a tantrum.
Why don't you see if you can draw, Hannah?
No, I don't want to draw.
A bit more.
Or what you're doing now. Think about what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Right, that's enough,
Okay,
Jess.
you do it then.
That'll do it.
You do it.
You don't have to...
Because you've been talking all that while, you made me forget my idea. Ow! Need this one, don't I, Dad? Oh, no, don't make a decoration.
Yes, you can, Hannah.
No, because look.
Don't start shouting, because if you shout again at me, you're going to get a sad face.
I can't do it.
It's the scissors won't cut, Hannah, that's all.
You can't use the big scissors though.
Well,
Can't you find something else to do, please?
Get a purple
Try and find something else to do for now.
Well, there's only paper.
Sorry, why are you shouting at me? Now you're going to get a sad face.
Scissors.
Now you're going to get a sad face.
Shouting.
You just did shout.
You are shouting.
That's all. Nobody else is shouting, are we?
I'm not shouting.
Before leaving the House of Tiny Tearaways, all of the families decide to make a final trip to the purpose-built playground.
Daddy's here.
Mum Nikki Cooksleys, though, seems to have got a little over-enthusiastic.
My bit's stuck.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah. Now you can go. Do you want a hand? Do you want a hand?
No, I'm cool.
There you go. Go on then.
Okay.
You realise you're teaching them bad...
You ready?
Bad tricks here.
Right. Come on.
Is that it?
No, I'm
You
cool.
can do it, baby. You can do it. Show me. Come on.
This sounds a bit like it's going to break.
Does it?
Nice. Okay,
Come on then, I'm not helping you. Come down, come on then.
That's your...
The party for the children has begun, and so has Nicola's test. Earlier in the day, Dr Tanya told Mum Nicola she had conquered her sleep problem with Dante, but needed to work on how she related to Dante as a child. Dr Tanya showed Nicola a praising and attending technique to help her learn how to play with her child.
Of what he's...
In her final challenge, Dr Tanya told Mum Nicola Egbon that she'd be observing her at an unspecified time during the party to see if she had mastered her new skills.
Let's go build a rabbit house. Come on.
Fluffy.
Let's go build a house for the rabbit. Left, right, left, right.
That's good. That's
That's good.
Yeah.
There it is. Guess what, Dante? Look. Oh. Okay. All right. What do you want to do?
Come on,
I've never seen a rabbit have a tantrum like that. Have you?
Okay. Huh? What's wet? We're gonna build a house for the rabbit. Can we please build a house for the rabbit?
She's a little bit controlling of his play.
Explain to me what that means.
She should let him lead the play more.
Right.
Do we need this one? Where's it gone?
Now she's engaging him back in because she's asking him questions. Do you see, when she was like, I want to do this, we're going to do this, he's like, not interested, tantrum on the floor. Then she said, OK, shall we do this? Do we need this one? She's brought him in. It's a collaborative task now, he's playing.
So that's the end of 10 minutes. You've watched and you've been ticking. How do you think Nicola's done?
Really well. She has consistently, look, attended and rewarded with her delicious little bunny rabbit son. From her.
While the families continue to enjoy the party, it's the perfect chance for me to find out how Dr Tanya thought the final test went and what she thinks the future holds for the families. Let's talk about the challenges that face each of them in turn. First up, the Turners. What happens, let me just fast forward tonight, 9 o'clock, Hannah doesn't want to go to bed, there's a tantrum. Do you think they're going to be able to deal with it?
I do. I think they'll go home and over the weekend it'll be fine. But I think that come Monday morning, Dad goes to work and it's all back to normal. That is when I think it's going to be tough for them. And so all the strategies, all the skills, all the resources that they have, that's when they're going to be tested.
What's their biggest thing? Is it to stay united?
Yes.
Is it to ignore bad behaviour? I mean, if you could give them one nugget.
For Lee, it's to remain engaged and not to retreat into his world, which I think he has the capacity to do. For Louise, it's to not get so defensive and confrontational and fight with her girls.
And what for the girls?
For the girls, to continue to provide their parents with opportunities to improve their skills. So the odd tantrum here and there, girls, I think your parents need a little bit of that just so they can practice.
Let's talk Cooksleys. Tomorrow morning they wake up in their own house. It's breakfast time. What do you envisage happening?
No high chair. Lewis doesn't dictate what he eats. They know the skills, they know the strategies. I hope that Paul remembers to stay back and not anxiously get involved.
Do you think they could go back to their old ways, though?
2 days ago, I was still quite concerned because the changes were quite superficial in terms of the skills of how you get your child who doesn't eat to eat. Yesterday, and particularly today, and look at them there, this couple, I think, have found something inside themselves, and I think for them, they recognise this is a much bigger issue. This is about letting their son grow up, and I don't think they will fall back, because I think they recognise he's a toddler, they recognise he has to behave like a toddler, and they now know what to do, and so I think they're going to embrace the opportunity to push him on developmentally.
And can I just say the words, Mr. Squirrel?
Yes, I've got to give Mr. Squirrel back. I didn't take Mr. Squirrel away because I want to confiscate the joy in this family. I just wanted them to find ways of being clear and assertive with their son without having to do it through a puppet.
OK, Nicola Egbon, what are the biggest problems for her? Because she is by herself, so it's not like she can turn to somebody else and say, oh, do you remember when Dr Tanya said such and such?
Look, she is doing so well.
Do we need this one? Yeah. OK.
I take my hat off to her that she has been in this house with these increasingly loved-up couples, and you know, she's really put a brave face on it, because for her being on her own, and she's now on her own in her bed because her son isn't there anymore, which is a success on one level, but for her is still a wrench. So I hope that she will remember to reach out and ask for help and ask for support so that she can be given the strength to keep going with these new skills that she's acquired.
After 2 hours of fun at the party, it's nearly time for the families to go home. Just before everyone leaves, Dr Tanya has come to see Mum Nicola Egbon in the Purple Suite. At the beginning of the week, Dr Tanya sent Mum Nicola out shopping for bedroom accessories to give Dante a sense of ownership and help create associations between his bedroom and sleep. It's now the end of the week and Dante must say goodbye to his new bedroom.
The 3 things I want to say to you are, keep playing with your son. See play as part of the building of the relationship between you and him. OK, the second thing is, the negative thoughts that come into your head, remember how you can talk yourself round. Positive talk in your head, all the challenges that you have more than exceeded that I have set you, you've done amazingly. So whenever you're feeling down, you're feeling lonely, you think about being here and what you've achieved and boot yourself back up. Yeah. The third thing is about sleep. You have done brilliantly with sleep, absolutely brilliantly with sleep. Don't be tempted to wake him up in the night if you feel lonely. Phone a friend. But when you get home with his bedroom, you get those things in that are the sleep associations, OK? All the things that we've got here. Yeah? Is that possible for you?
I'm going to try my hardest best to do it. He's going to go to my mum's today. So on Sunday when he comes back home, it'll be a fresh start for it.
So tomorrow you're going shopping to get his room? Well, you know what, Nicola, I don't think you need to.
Why?
Because Dante's going to take his bed home with him. Yes. Because that's Dante's bed. Is that you? Okay. That's okay. Because... Don't make him... You're freaking out. He's...
Dante's your bed. We're taking it home. Yeah, high five, buddy. Well done. And you're gonna sleep in your own room when we get home.
Oh, he's wiping your tears. And Dante, do you know what, Dante? I think you can take home your fire engine, and I think you can take home your mobile and your letters. So, Nicola, I need you to pack up quickly because you need to get your son home with his bed to have his first night in his own bedroom, OK? You've done so well. You've done so well.
During a consultation with the Cooksleys earlier in the week, Dr Tanya took a drastic step and confiscated Mr Squirrel. Pleased with the change Mum Nikki and Dad Paul have made in the way they communicate with Lewis without the aid of Mr Squirrel, it's time for him to make a surprise return.
Who is it?
Who is it?
Hello, Lewis. Give me a kiss.
Oh.
There you go.
There he is.
Is he...
Do you want to talk to him? There he is.
Oh. Clever boy.
Mr Squirrel comes back because you found your voice with your son.
Yes.
Yeah. I did slam you, didn't I?
Ow,
but I think you really, really took it, and you've surpassed what I thought you could do. You've definitely surpassed what you thought you could do.
Very much.
And you're leaving here with a little boy who has an increased range of foods. Hello, darling. Who feeds himself, sits in a booster chair, and doesn't have to eat purees anymore. I mean, incredible.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Absolutely fantastic.
Blows things in my face when I'm trying to say things, important things. Because you're a toddler, and that's what toddlers do, don't they? Absolutely right. 3 things, okay? 3 things to take away for you as a family. Number 1, he's not a baby. And I'd like to ask you to think about putting him in a big boy bed.
Yes, we were going to do that. That's our next idea, yes.
So, goodbye cot,
Yes.
really. Treat him as his age, because that is who he is. Number 2, when it comes to food, everything you've done, amazing. No negotiating, no pleading, no feeding, no pureeing. And just continue on with all the skills you've learned and phase those crisps out. And before you know it, he'll be eating. He'll be eating. I mean, he's started so much here. And number 3, set a boundary and follow through. And if you don't want him around you, if you don't want him whinging, tell him and show him, and then move on, just like you did earlier on in the room there, Nikki.
Lewis, yeah.
That's all right. I'm quite enjoying this, actually. And what about you, Lewis? What do you want to say? I'm glad you came to my house.
Yeah.
Oh, are you glad you came?
Yeah.
Are you? And do you like roast chicken?
Yeah.
And do you like omelettes?
Yeah.
Do you? And do you eat your dinner like a big boy?
Yeah.
After a life-changing journey, it's finally time for Dr Tanya and the families to say their final farewells.
Thank you so much. Can I get a hug? I love you.
So you leave your balloons here and I'll come to you in a minute, darling. So you're going home. Yep. You're leaving me and the house. Hello. 3 things. Play with your kids as much as you can. Keep smiling. And hold on to that new insight in the fact that you don't need to be defensive all the time.
Oh, well.
You are such a lovely family. It's been such a pleasure, I can't tell you. I shall miss you very much, and I'm now going to walk you away from the house. Okay?
Thanks. We'd just like to say a big thank you. I don't think thank you is enough. We came in as a family at war, basically, with our children, with each other, and we were leaving as a unity.
Thank you,
Dr Tanya. Don't cry.
No.
Good luck.
Thank you. And thank you so much.
Pleasure. An absolute pleasure. Well done, mate.
It's a pleasure being here. It was really nice. Thank you for having us in the house. It was lovely.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Bye-bye, lovely.
It's been a fantastic time, hasn't it? We've learned so much. We really have learned loads and loads. Within the short space of time that we've been here, I never thought that it would be possible ever to achieve what we've managed to achieve. We have one very happy little boy here now.
So bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Say thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya.
Good one.
Say bye-bye. 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 Well done.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. We feel 101% better. Me and Dante have bonded in a way we've never, ever bonded before. I'll definitely continue the process, continue the routine. Bye. Go on, Dante, say bye.
Yeah, bye.
What a week it's been. There have been tears, tantrums, romance and even rabbits. Dr Tanya's only had 6 days with the families and there have been dramatic changes. But for the families, this is only the beginning of their journey. What happens when they get home? We'll be following them. 1 week on with the house just a memory and the family is back at their homes, the question is, how have they coped? In Rochdale, have Tanya's techniques helped the Turners to keep 3.5-year-old Jessica's tantrums at bay and maintain their family unity?
Look, what's he doing? He's pinching all the bread for the ducks. Ooh, soggy doggy. I would never have attempted an outing like this before, coming and feeding the ducks or taking them for a walk, because before I couldn't control my temper. I just wouldn't have enjoyed it, whereas now, doing it with them, it's a lot easier. That funny tree is growing out the wall.
Yeah, it's growing out the wall.
My relationship with the girls has changed in the way that I enjoy them now. I've learned how to enjoy them. I've learned how to let myself go and enjoy myself with my kids more.
I'm a duck.
Are you a duck? You're a what?
Ducky.
A ducky. Lee used to, on a Sunday night, be sitting there saying he couldn't wait to go back to work on a Monday. Now he's there and he's like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. This is because I'll miss it and we've had so much fun on the weekend. If he can get home earlier, he'll be home early. So he's happy when he comes in to see the kids. They're happy to see him.
Do you know these are finger pants? No. It's the first time since we've had both of them that we wake up and we think, oh, it's nice, it's weekend, let's do something. Let's go somewhere. It was never like that.
Jessie's tantrums were just like almost like disappeared overnight.
You can't have a chocolate yet. Please. But you didn't eat your tea.
Since we've been back, she's had 1 tantrum. No, 2, sorry. Once out, once in the house. We've just sat there and ignored her. You can see it in her face. It's like, oh, OK, this is not going to work. Nobody's feeling anything for me, so I stop. And that's what she's done. You can see it. It's amazing. I mean, we didn't think it was possible to be like we are now. I didn't think it was possible to go and enjoy time with my family.
We never had 1 minute, not even at night time when they were supposed to be sleeping. And we feel like we've got a life after the kids have gone to bed. You can hear how quiet it is now. That's a big difference for us.
It hasn't been a quick fix. It's a life-changing thing. It's changed all of our lives.
In London, Nicola and son Dante have also been home for a week. Has the time Nicola spent with Tanya led to permanent change? And is Dante still sleeping in his own bed?
It's been inspiring for me. You know, made me a bit more focused and more determined to do things. I have done up Dante's room. It's not that much, but Dante loves it. And my relationship with Dante has improved so much. You know, I wasn't really enjoying being his mom.
Oh! Let's mess it all up.
His sleeping has been great. You know what? Settling him down for bedtime, perfect. Sleepy time, can I get a kiss? Good night. Mwah. God bless you. Dante's in bed. He got put down about 7 o'clock. You know, a few mishaps, but he's sleeping now. I'm smiling. I have the whole evening to myself. But Dante has responded very well to all the new changes. Things are looking right up from the future.
Back in West Sussex, have the Cooksleys met their challenge to implement Tanya's advice? Have they let Lewis grow up, and is he still eating proper food, or have they gone back to puree?
The rules that Tanya gave us when we left the house, we have pretty much stuck to, and the changes have just been, you know, wonderful and terrific.
And I think sort of the most important thing is because Lewis has noticed we're now working as a team, he's sort of taken a few steps back, thinking, well, you know, I'm not going to sort of push so hard.
Lewis, come and sit down here, please. Right.
He can go on again.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yes. Yes.
You will get the message, Lewis. It's just ignoring him and showing him that you're in control. And if you can do that, if you can manage to do that, then you get the reward at the end of it because he calms down and is absolutely fine again. You're going to be a good boy now? Right, come and sit down here then, please. The thing that surprised us most, I think, probably is the fact that how quickly he's actually grown up. With us letting go of that sort of baby stage. Before we went into the house, I think both me and Nikki said that our ideal aim or achievement out of this would be to have him sit down with us and eat a roast dinner. Is it someone's tea time? What have you got today? You've got roast dinner, haven't you? I don't think either of us really believed that that could actually happen. Look at this. This is absolutely fantastic. I am so pleased that he's actually sitting at a table, using a fork, and actually eating it. Bit of cauliflower.
That's it.
Hey! What a good boy you are. Very good boy. Absolutely amazing. What do you like to eat?
Roast dinner.